Hey, District Court for County of Washington, State of Michigan is now in session. Court from near the Honorable Judge J. Cedric Simpson presides. You may be seated. Court does call the case of Arbor Woods versus Daniel McEachran.
Good morning, Your Honor. Sydney Fontanella, P8631, plaintiff.
Your name, sir?
Daniel McEachran, sir.
All right. And what's plaintiff's claim in this case?
Your Honor, I show that rent to retain is $1,519.64. Court costs of $182.72 for a total of $1,702.36.
And sir, what do you have to say about that?
Yes, sir, I do owe that, but because I've had a amended tax form with the IRS, which just took them 6 months, but when I talked to them last Wednesday, they said that they finally recognized it. It's under review. And within 1 or 2 weeks, I should be getting $1,400 for my tax return.
Okay.
And at that point, that was my intention all along, to use that tax money to get caught up.
So you're going to get $1,400?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Your Honor, I also believe that Mr. McEachran had said that he applied for DHS assistance at the last hearing. I'm just curious as to what the status is, if he was approved or anything.
We have a copy of the most recent statement from the DHS.
So what is DHS saying?
Basically, they paid $425 for my heat and gas.
Pardon?
They paid $425 for my heat and gas.
Okay.
This is a copy of the latest statement.
Okay, but did you apply for rental assistance?
Yes, sir. This is the only thing I have so far.
Okay, so are they still processing the rental assistance?
As far as I know.
Okay.
They have not come out and told me that any other benefit this time.
Okay, let me see that. Right. Ms. Fontanella, what I'm looking at is a DHHS decision notice for SER. And electricity, they're going to pay $425. Heat, they're going to pay $425. But there's no indication of rental assistance on this form. You can have that back. Okay, sir, I guess my initial question is this. And while that's a request for assistance, it's not rental assistance. So I don't think we get into the issue of the stay. Let's say that tax return were to appear today and you paid that all over to the landlord, you're still approximately $300 plus short. How are you going to get that paid?
Basically, this is a copy of my original form, which I made the mistake.
What original form?
When I first filed, I misfiled, which on this document, it shows that I owe the government $1,096, $1,966. I filed this form. I got this form,
So,
which
so you're back to talking about your taxes.
yes,
Okay.
they said that I had to make payments to make up that difference. Then I had a person I know refile my document, which is the modified form. And they told me that because of my mistake, I should have gotten $1,433 back instead of owing them. When I talked to the IRS on the phone, they said that not only would I get this back, but in theory, all that money back, which is up to
Okay.
$800 or $1,000, it took over the months.
Gotcha. Okay. So not only is it the 1,400, but then you paid them some, and that would come back, and that would cover your rent.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
I can't do that because it was all a phone conversation, but that is pretty much the bottom line.
Okay. And you say it's going to be in 2 weeks?
1 or 2 weeks. The IRS, the way they explained to me over the phone was they reviewed this document or they found it. They're reviewing it, whatever that means. Then within 1 or 2 weeks, they will deposit that money into my account through direct deposit.
1 or 2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay.
The person couldn't tell me exactly how much or when, because when it's in review, the person I talked to didn't have access to that information.
Okay. So here's what's today, the 22nd?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If we make my rent date the all right. So here's what I'm going to do. And I'll explain why I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to grant a judgment to the plaintiff in the total amount. It was 1702.38. Is that right?
1702.36, Your Honor.
36. Okay, so I'm going to grant a judgment finding no tribal issue. And let me explain why I'm going to do that. In the amount of $1,702.36. What that does for you, sir, is this. That will not include your January rent. Okay.
Okay.
So that if the IRS comes through and does what they say they're going to do, and in 2 weeks, and I will make the writ date the 5th of January. Okay, so I'm going to give a little bit of extra time in case the federal government doesn't do what they say they're going to do and get the money to you right away. Okay. All right.
I can use any help I can get, sir.
All right. And what that will do is that makes this a lower figure. If I gave you an adjournment, kicked it out into January, you're going to owe January rent would be on this judgment. And you'd be under time crunch to get all of that paid. You follow me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So hopefully that will come through. You can get the 1702 paid off. And then you'll have January rent due, but you can work with the landlord. You'll probably have that if they get that money to you. Okay?
All right, sir.
All right. So I'll grant that judgment. January 5th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for helping me, sir.
All right. You have a great holiday. Arbor Woods versus Armani Lyman.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
Oh, you're on Zoom. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
What's the plaintiff's claim in this case?
Your Honor, I have rent to retain as $4,177.64, court costs of $182.72, for a total of $4,360.36.
All right. All right. And what do you have to say about that? How do you intend on getting that paid?
I'm getting catched up. First off, I was talking to going in the office because I paid my November rent late, but I paid on the portal, and it stated that I only owed $49.82, which was a water bill that was due for December 1st. And I know I haven't paid December rent, so I know I for sure owe December rent plus late fees. But I was planning on catching up when I get paid from work, and then the week of Christmas, our our holiday pay for that will be on the next week's check. So since the amount is so big, that's how I was planning on catching up. But I was showing them my screenshot from the portal said I only owed $49.82 from the month of November.
Your Honor,
40,
if I may,
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I believe that Ms. Lyman brought this up at the last hearing. I'm not sure what Judge Barr's notes are. My notes show that her payment in November came back NFS. And so that is how the balance is so big now, because it includes November and December.
Got it. You hear that, Miss Lyman?
Yes. But like I told Zoe, I never was notified of any return payment. And I can't get on the portal now, but the last I was on there, it just looked like I owe the $49.82. But I do understand I do plan on paying. So
Okay, but when do you think you're going to have this whole balance cleared up?
for sure by the first week of January, because I'll get my holiday pay in the beginning of
Okay,
January.
so you're going to be able to pay the entire amount in that first week of January?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grant a judgment to the plaintiff finding no tribal issue for the total amount of $4,360.36. Okay?
Yeah.
And when I grant that judgment, I'm going to give you till January 5th to get that paid.
Okay. And so long as I
Okay?
pay it by then, I won't have nothing to worry about.
That's true. That doesn't
Okay.
include your January rent, though.
Of course. Yes.
Okay,
It's just
but as
November and
to
December.
November and December, you'll have the January 5th to get that paid.
Okay. Thank you so much, Your Honor. I really appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, ma'am, and happy holidays.
Thank you. You as well. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court does call the case of Arbor Woods versus Brittany Woods. And is it Donovan Hall? Names?
Donovan Hall.
Brittany Woods.
All right. And what's the claim in this case?
Your Honor, I have rent to retain of $1,577.46, court cost of $235.44, for a total of $1,812.90.
Folks, what do you have to say about that?
As of today, we can pay 1,000. And if we could just have a little more time to pay the rest, been working overtime on my job to get the rest, so we should have it very soon.
I also applied for Friends and D and then through SCR. So just waiting to hear something back from them.
Okay, when did you do that?
A few days ago.
Okay. So there's a form that you're going to need to fill out.
Okay.
Got it. Okay, that's one. You're going to need to fill out and file at the clerk's office. Do you have your tracking number on that SCR?
Yes.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you'll have to put that or somehow or another get that information to us on that. So what that would entitle you to is basically a 14-day stay under the court rules because you've applied. Okay, as long as that's filed. So what I will do then is, where's the first day? It's January 5th, 2024. So what I'll do is I'll adjourn this matter out to January 5th, 2024 at 10 a.m. Okay. Make sure you get that form in.
Okay.
The 1,000 that you have, okay, make sure that you're going to get that paid to the landlord when?
I can do that as soon as we leave today.
Today? Okay, so you paid the $1,000 today, and then do you think you'll have everything clear before the 5th?
Yes.
You do? Okay, so here's what you do. Pay the 1,000. I've adjourned it out. You got to stay to the 5th. You need to get the rest of that in of 8/12, without January rent, of 8/12/90. You need to get that paid to them. The best thing to do is try to get that paid before are you going to be able to pay that before the end of the year, you think?
The 8/12?
Yeah.
Yes, we plan to have it before the end of the year.
Okay. The best thing to do is to get that paid before the 31st of December. Okay. So that the landlord has that and we don't click into January and then have to start dealing with January. Okay. All right, folks.
I have a quick question. When I fill this out, do I take that right to the front when I came in?
Yep. Take it to the counter.
Okay.
Okay. And that's got to be in for the stay to apply.
Okay.
Okay. So you got to get that into us. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have a good holiday.
Thank you.
Arbor Woods versus Carl Hogan. Carl Hogan, no response. Would you like to take a default?
Yes, Your Honor. Will you swear me in, please?
Yeah. Yes. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, this is a non-payment of rent, possession-only action. I show that there's rent to retain of $1,162.62, court costs of $209.44, for a total of $1,372.06. I am requesting a default judgment with writ to issue in 10 days.
To the plaintiff, that is by default for possession, redemption amount in the amount requested, writ to issue in 10 days. Court does call the of Arbor Woods versus Kiera Morris. Kiera Morris, no response. You may proceed.
Your Honor, I am requesting a default judgment. I show that there is rent to retain of $1,790.64, court costs of $169.72, for a total of $1,960.36. I would request writ to issue in 10 days.
Judgment to the plaintiff by default for possession, redemption amount in the amount requested, writ to issue in 10 days. Court calls the case of Arbor Woods versus Damon Stafford.
Sydney Fontanella.
And Bonseri Polk.
Yes.
All right, sir, what's your name?
Damon Stafford.
Okay. And what's plaintiff's claim in this case?
Your Honor, I show that there's rent to retain of $1,764.69, court costs of $235.44, for a total due of $2,000.13.
2013. All right. Sir, how do you intend upon getting that paid?
Well, I've applied for the SCR. My job got downsized a couple of months ago, so that was caused the hardship. But I'm back working in the next right after the new year. But I've already applied for the SCR. And
have you applied already?
Yes, and I sent the court the his number via email yesterday.
Ah, got it. Okay, I see it here. Okay, so what you're going to need to do is there's a form that you're going to need to fill out. We've got this information here, but you're going to need to fill that out up front. Gotcha. That's going to entitle you to a stay till January 5th, 2024. So I'll adjourn this out to January 5th. Hello.
Back
I
again.
have two search warrants. Is that correct?
Yes,
I
sir.
have reviewed them. If you could please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the information contained in the search warrant and affidavits are true to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief. I did not hear a response. I'm sorry.
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay, thank you. We'll sign off on these. We'll get these over to you shortly.
Thank you, Your Honor. I promise not to bother you anymore.
Pardon?
I promise not to bother you anymore.
No, you can bother me. It's okay. It's okay. I'm here, not a bother. All righty. You take
Have a good
care.
day. You too.
Ridgewood Apartments versus Lamar Johnson. Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Oh, there. Good morning.
Mark Schlesinger standing in for the attorney of record on behalf of Ridgewood Apartments.
All right. Johnson, they are not here. Would you like to take a default, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, if I could, based on the defendant's failure to appear, this is
Can you raise your right hand to be sworn, please?
Certainly.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. I am here as representative and attorney of Ridgewood Apartments. This is a possession only. No, it's possession and for a money judgment. There is currently an outstanding balance due and owing of rent in the amount of $3,718.00, $230 in court cost, total to retain possession $3,948.00. These are based on the books and records of Ridgewood.
You may be seated. Court does call the case of Group 5 Management versus Roderick Smith.
Good morning, Your Honor. Carrie Zanin, PC7-390 on behalf of plaintiff, standing in for Mr. Weiss.
Good afternoon.
How you doing, Your Honor?
What's your name, sir? What is the claim in this case?
Judge, this is a non-payment of rent action with a money judgment being requested as well. I'm showing that rent is due in the amount of $1,588, court costs of $217 for a total rent retained of $1,805.
And sir?
Yes.
How do you intend upon paying this?
So, Your Honor, I actually tendered payment to Group 5 Management on November 3rd. And my form of payment was refused.
Was what?
My form of payment, she refused payment.
What was your form of payment?
A cashier's check. I actually have the voided check here. And I'm asking for
You had a
yes
cashier's check. Let me see.
If this is also the refusal in the email from the landlord. All right.
Danny, do you know anything about the refusal of payment?
I do not, Judge. Obviously, I'm standing in for Mr. Weiss. I believe my client or the client was supposed to be on. My understanding was that it wasn't a cashier's check. It was a counter or a check. And the reason it would have been refused was because he's had more than 3 checks come back as insufficient funds. But I would ask if I don't see if he's on here, Judge.
From Randolph Court or Group 5 on the Zoom? We don't have anybody checked in.
We don't.
Email.
Judge,
Hang on, Ms. Zane. He has an email saying about the refusal. Well, it's a text message screenshot.
Yeah, it's a email. I actually screenshotted it.
And it says from a somebody with the last name of Aslam, ASLAM, indicating that they received the rent check in the sum of $1,238, which the check that he showed me was in that, in the form of an over-the-counter check. However, must be certified funds. And then, second page, as the system will not accept this, maybe. But
yeah, Judge, my notes on the ledger show counter check, which is a check that's not. It's one of the ones they give you from the bank, and so again, that's the position I was taking, anyways. It was refused.
So,
because,
sir,
yes.
Is there a reason why you can't get certified funds to the landlord?
Well, they actually accepted December's rent from the same check, Your Honor, from my bank.
Okay, but if
well, because it costs, and my defense is that under Uniform Commercial Code 440.2511, by tender of payment, 2 and 3,
it's not applicable to this case.
And could you tell me why, Your Honor?
Because the UCC doesn't apply to this circumstance.
I'm sorry?
The UCC doesn't apply to this circumstance.
It's a commercial transaction, Your Honor.
The UCC does not apply.
Okay. So where could I find this at that says that this isn't a commercial transaction?
That would be your assertion. I'm telling you it doesn't apply to this.
Just for my understanding that the Uniform Commercial Code governs all commercial transactions in commerce. And so based off of this law, tender of payment is why my defense is that once the tender of payment was refused, at that time, the charge or the total amount was charged.
Even if you were to do that analysis, you can't then have unjust enrichment, which means that you want to move.
I'm sorry?
You can't have unjust enrichment, so you'd have to move because you can't have the apartment and not pay.
No, I mean, I paid the rent. They took the exact form of payment in December.
Sir, are you going to tender a check or no? Or certified funds to them?
I'll tender payment.
Are you going to tender certified funds for the 1805?
So, Your Honor, my rent is $1,238, and just the extra $700, $600. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but if they accepted the rent payment and from my bank in December, I'm sure I don't know why they wouldn't accept it now. They refused November, and then they accepted December.
Sir?
Yes.
I'm asking a very simple question.
Yeah.
Are you going to tender certified funds to them in the amount of 1805?
I will surrender. I will submit funds.
Certified funds to them.
I plan to. It costs me to do certified, so I would.
As does the NSF transactions that they've had in the past. So that is my question to you. Are you going to submit certified funds?
I'll submit certified funds.
In the amount of 1805?
I like to debate that amount because I'm not sure where that amount's coming from. My rent is $1,238. In court costs, I'm not sure what the other $600.
All right, here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Defendant to submit $1,238, which at this point is the undisputed amount in certified funds to the landlord no later than December 29, 2023. And then we will look at the disputed amounts I will adjourn this matter to January 5th, 2024 at 2 p.m. And I would just note to you, Mr. Smith, that if those funds aren't in, I'm not hearing any additional argument. I will be granting a judgment, which will be for the full amount, plus what will at that point be January's rent.
Your Honor, also, the 4th I have to work. So every time that I'm coming here, I'm having to take off of work. And
Sir, I cannot help that.
I mean, is there a way that we can set a different date?
That is my next day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court calls case of Hampton to Clover Lane versus Deja Giles.
Good afternoon again, Carrie Zandon P 67390 on behalf of plaintiff.
And also Karina O'Hara. What's your name?
Deja Giles.
Okay. And there was a judgment entered in her motion to set it aside.
That's correct, Judge. The judgment was entered on December 1st of 2023, a total of $5,874.93 with court costs due and owing within 10 days at that time because it was by default.
All right, ma'am, what's your basis to set aside the judgment?
We didn't get any notification for that court date. I even reached out to our assistant property manager about it. Even the one we had in November, I was trying to figure out where it was at, what time it was at, and we didn't get any information about it. And I went to the other court we were set up for the previous time, and they told me to reach out to the clerk's office, and I did, and they told me to send an email. I didn't get any response back on the 17th. So on the 1st, we didn't even know we had a court date then.
All right. Second prong that you have to establish, is there a defense to the amount of rent owed?
No.
No. Okay. All right. I'd have to deny your motion, ma'am, because you had to satisfy two things: your failure to appear, as well as you have to give me some defense to the claim. Now, the question that I have is, are you intending on paying this?
Yes, we are. We can give $1,200 today and the rest in the next 2 weeks.
And what?
The rest in the next 2 weeks.
Next week?
Next 2 weeks.
So you have $1,200 today in cash?
I would have to get it from my bank, but yes.
You need to pay $1,200 today into escrow. And Ms. Annan, I have $1,653 in escrow.
You do? Okay.
So you got to pay that into court escrow today.
Okay.
All right. And then when are you going to have the balance?
I would say in the next 2 weeks. I did want to talk to my roommate first, but.
Pardon?
I said I would say in the next 2 weeks, but I did have to talk to my roommate first to make sure that she's on.
Well, I need to know now, ma'am. Okay. You're going to have it by the 5th?
Yes.
Can you have it by the 4th so that we're all clear?
I would have to say the 5th.
Pardon?
I would have to say the 5th. I get paid on Fridays.
All right. I'm going to put the balance by January 5th, 2024 before court hearing. I'll adjourn the matter to January 5th, 2024 at 2 p.m. So you got to have the balance paid into court escrow before 2 p.m. before that court hearing. Okay. Understand that? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have an amazing holiday, okay?
Okay, you do the same.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me Zoom. I do appreciate you.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Eric Zorica, versus Brianna Kingsley.
Good morning, Your Honor, or afternoon, Your Honor. Attorney Andrew Batnick on behalf of the plaintiff.
Brianna Kingsley? Oh, there you are.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Oh, afternoon. Nice.
It's okay. The last hearing I had a total amount of $35.73 owing. Is that where we are still?
Your Honor, we found an additional $490 when there was a request for a ledger for monies owed. It seems that Miss Kingsley had always paid digitally. She had paid my client directly through, I think this is probably Cash App. She asked for a refund and they processed a refund of $490. So an additional $490 is owed on that prior amount.
Okay, so what's the total amount you're claiming?
So it is $3,430 in rent, $450 in late fees, $183 in court costs, which is a total of $4,063.
And do I have a response to that?
My response is the accounting that I received from the landlord does I have not received a refund of $490 that they claim. I checked my accounts. It has not come to me. Additionally, the accounting was not complete. They showed my payment history, and I am the co-lessee with A. Begovich. There is no payment history from my former roommate.
Well, usually the payment history is by unit.
And that's not what I received, sir? May I share with you what I received from them?
Let me see it.
Yes, sir.
And Your Honor, so the court is aware at the last hearing, the defendant told the court he had not paid or she had not paid September, October, or I'm sorry, October, November, and December's rent. That's already on the record.
I don't understand the 490 chargeback.
So I'm not sure what the court may be looking at, but if it was my cover letter from December 15th, it included the attachments. There is what the court will see in the attachments. The last 2 pages, you will see the verification that the 490 was initially received, and then a second verification that 490 is being refunded through the Cash App. It was requested by the defendant and has been pulled back from my client's account.
Okay.
I would ask the court, or I can inquire of the defendant if she did request a refund. I know she says she didn't receive it, but she didn't state whether she requested one through the app.
Did you request a refund?
I did talk to my bank about some fraudulent activity on my account, and this was one of my concerns because I've communicated exclusively through Mr. Carrick. Mr. Milovan goes by Mitch, but all the paperwork's from Zorka, so I was not certain who the actual owner was. As I said, I have not received the refund, and I can show that if that's helpful.
No, not at this point. I mean, the absence of something isn't going to necessarily help me. All right. So you did, I recall at the last hearing, indicate that you did owe those other months.
At the last hearing, I indicated that I have stopped paying because they have failed to maintain a safe unit.
All right, here's what I'm going to do. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I have a copy of an inspection report from Ypsilanti Building Inspection Officer, Ms. Jamaica Berry. When they first attempted to accuse me of destroying the property, I thought it would be helpful to get a third-party inspection by the city. Ms. Berry found 12 violations on the landlord's behalf, did not find that I had caused any damage. I have that full report to submit into evidence.
All right. Well,
and hang
on. I'm not going to take evidence at this point. It looks like First thing that I'm going to need is a written answer from you as to this complaint.
Okay.
So I need a written answer by 1 week out. Can you do that?
1 week out with the holidays. Can we make it first of the year?
All right. Written answer by January 2nd, 2024. I will adjourn this matter then out to January 5th, 2024 at 2 p.m. And then we'll see where we are. With that written answer, you have to file a copy with the court and you have to send a copy to counsel.
Does it have to be officially heard or just to counsel?
To counsel, you can send it via email to him or however you need to get that communicated.
Thank you for your attention today, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, any escrow order for the rents being paid, or are we holding off here? Because my guy is still not receiving rent, unfortunately.
Let me see. Well, this was set December 15th. We're at the 22nd. Under the new court rule, I can't order escrow at this point. It has to be 14 days.
Okay, so we'll have to deal with that on the 5th.
Yes.
Your Honor, last question. I'm still traveling on the 5th. I could resubmit another request, but I didn't know if a request to have myself heard.
You can submit another request.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And yes, ma'am, you had another.
I did, and then it just lost me. I have receipts for the repairs that I've made to the unit in regards to escrow. I heard that I don't have to start the escrow now. My attempt so far, what I've done, I've already worked with MSHDA, but because the landlord had previously failed to give me an accounting date,
ma'am, you'll need to supply that in your answer.
Yeah.
And then I can take whatever need to into account regarding escrow. Okay, thank you.
Happy holidays.
Lakestone Apartments. Lakestone Apartments versus Leslie Lewis.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Attorney Samantha Sprague, P81931, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
Leslie Lewis, can you unmute?
Yes.
All right. And where are we on this case?
Your Honor, this is a second hearing on a non-payment of rent. We do show that currently there is past due rent in the amount of $4,820, other costs in the amount of $581.88, and court costs of $263.60, for a total due and owing of $5,665.48.
All right. Ms. Lewis, what do you have to say about that amount owed?
I haven't reviewed it yet, but I can tell you I have receipt from my job showing that they're going to cover it.
I'm sorry?
I'm not sure about like the accuracy of that, but I can tell you that my job is going to cover the payment. I have receipt of that. They're going to cover it. Exactly when, I'm not sure of, but I do have a statement showing or proof showing that I am receiving assistance through them. They're going to be the ones to cover it.
Through your job?
Correct.
How much assistance are you receiving through your job?
So they have the in-house grant and it covers up to $10,000.
Okay, do you have proof that they'll pay that?
I have proof that the application has been submitted. I don't have proof of the actual judgment because I guess the person over the case hasn't gotten in touch with me yet. But the application has been submitted.
Okay, and when will they pay that out?
Now, when they pay it out, I'm not too sure of, but I can get more information on that. That will be a direct check sent to Lake Stone. I don't think that they're going to send it to me. And I'm sure that the person that's going to do,
will that amount include January rent?
yes.
Okay.
By then, I have to just grab an updated ledger.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do. There's not really a tribal issue for me. You say that it's going to be paid. I'm going to grant a judgment to the plaintiff for possession in the total amount of $5,665.48.
Okay.
I will extend the writ date out. So you need to tell your employer that this needs to get paid. I'll extend the rent date out to January 8th.
Okay.
2024.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Court calls the case of Lakestone Apartments versus Janae Curtis.
Attorney Samantha Sprague, P81931, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
Curtis?
Yes, I'm present.
All right.
And Your Honor, this is a subsequent non-payment of rent case. We do show that there is past due rent in the amount of $880. Their costs in the amount of $714.51, and court costs in the amount of $243.60, for a total due and owing of $1,838.11.
Okay, what are these other costs?
Certainly. For this tenant, there is a $75 late fee, and then there are utilities, including water, sewer. Yes, it appears to be water and sewer charges.
Ms. Curtis, do you dispute that amount owed?
Yes, because the last hearing it was in a total of $1,500, I believe $1,550, and I also did submit a SCR through the Department of Human Services. You
submitted an SCR?
Yes, sir.
All right, you'll have to file the form with the court indicating that you've done that.
Okay.
I'm going to grant a stay based upon that, counsel. That stay actually will be 2 weeks out to the 5th.
Okay, and can you express to me what the stay is?
The date.
Okay.
The next hearing is January 5th, 2024.
Okay.
2 p.m.
And how would I obtain the documents to fill out for the court?
You can go on the website and get the document. It's called a what? The assistance form.
Oh, the rental assistance form.
Rental assistance form.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
And Your Honor, was that 2 o'clock on the 5th?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor.
Lakestone Apartments versus Maxine Mercer.
Attorney Samantha Sprague, P81931, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
I'm here.
Right. And what's the claim? She applied for Hawk and state relief. Did you file the form with the court?
No, I did not.
Do we have her application in, Amy?
Your Honor, and I'm happy to relate to you what her case was first.
Yeah, go ahead.
So she has been approved for $3,000 pending a client's payment or payment plan. That indicates there's a portion above $3,000.
All right.
Addressed.
So she's been approved for $3,000, counsel, and I don't know if your client is willing to work a payment plan with her. If not, then Ms. Mercer, you'd have to pay the $1,900, I think $36 and some change.
So I made a payment this week of, I think it was $1,200. I dropped it off in the rent box and she received it. And then I will have more on the 27th to give her.
Your Honor, I don't have confirmation of that payment. Is it possible to find out what date that was dropped off?
Yes, it was. Let me look at the email because I sent it to her. December 19th. I dropped it off at 6:20 p.m.
Okay.
Okay, so she's at least got the approval for that. Since it's been approved, she doesn't really get the second stay. It's probably best I adjourn this to the 5th.
Yeah.
We're gonna have another month click in, but we're gonna have to get that arranged. So if you paid that one amount, how much are you gonna pay on the 27th?
At least another 1,000.
Okay, so that should put you right around there, and then we're gonna have to deal with January rent, but we can figure that out, I think, next year. January 5th, 2 p.m.
Okay, and then is it okay if I do Zoom through where I'm at right now?
I think council will be filing the paperwork, so yes, you can.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
Ms. Mercer, if it's possible for you to speak with the property manager regarding a payment plan in advance of the January 5th date, once you know what that's going to look like, we could potentially have a conditional dismissal that we could submit to the court. Your Honor, do you require that she appear in person if we have terms for a payment agreement?
No.
Okay.
She can still appear this way.
So that would allow you to avoid that January 5th date. If you're able to speak with the property manager, there'd be documents that we can draft and send over to the property manager for you to sign, okay?
We did, Autumn, which is the young lady from Hawk, and the landlord did speak about a payment plan, and I agreed that I would make the monthly rent included with the payment as long as I sign something, and I haven't heard back because she went on vacation.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Lakestone Apartments versus Eleanor Pryor.
Attorney Samantha Sprague, P81931, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
Eleanor Pryor.
Samson. All right. She had gotten the DHS. We've returned this out. How much is owing?
Currently, I show other costs in the amount of $275.88 and court costs in the amount of $230.60 for a total due owing of $506.48.
Ms. Pryor, how are you going to get that paid, ma'am?
My balance is actually $321.48. I got this from Lakestone on 12/7/23, and I have the money ordered. The office is closed.
Say that again to me.
My balance is actually $321.48, and I have the money order for that, but the office is closed. And this is my last. I got this from Lakestone. This is my last bill. It came on 12/7/23.
All right.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
That does not reflect us as part of the court costs. The court costs,
right.
We don't.
She doesn't.
Okay.
Okay. And ma'am, when do you normally pay your monthly rent?
Well, it was on the 1st, but I won't have any rent because I lost my job. Rent is going to 0 because I have Section 8.
So you're going down to 0?
Yes.
Okay. Did you put all the paperwork in regarding that?
For Section 8?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, the office already know.
Okay, let's do this. If rent is changing and we're at a relatively low balance, I'm going to adjourn this out to the 5th, 2024 at 2 p.m. All right, make sure your paperwork's in, and then by that time, pay that $321 or whatever you said you had, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
And if I may, Ms. Pryor, if you could again speak with the property manager, and we can come up with a payment agreement for the remainder. I think it's only $185. Okay.
For the court fees?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Court calls case of Lakestone Apartments versus Jessica Fair.
Attorney Samantha Sprague, P81931, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
Jessica Fair, no response. Would you like to take a default?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on. Amy?
Your Honor, she does have an open application, and the caseworker is waiting on landlord documents from the landlord.
Okay. Did you hear that, counsel?
I did hear that. Is it possible to find out what documents she's waiting on?
It would generally be current ledger, lease, W.
Okay. Heard that? Okay, let's do, since there's an app in, how much is owing?
Your Honor, we currently show past due rent in the amount of $11,965.12, with other cost of $1,199.63, court cost of $348.60, for a total due and owing of $13,513.35.
Okay, here's what I'll do. Under the court rule, I'll technically make this a stay, but that is not going to be covered under any program that I'm aware of. But so I'll just give the 14-day stay. I'll adjourn this matter to January 5th, 2024, 2 p.m. And we can sort that out. Although her app's in, I'm not sure how that other $8,000 is going to get paid. So,
can I ask?
Yeah.
Is this a research issue that the caseworker should be aware of?
Is counsel, do you know whether or not it's a recertification issue that the caseworker might need to be aware of?
I show that her rent did increase from $500 to market rent, which is over $1,000. So I do show that there was a bump, but that may be due to increase in employment versus a recertification. So it could be.
All right. Okay. So we'll take care of that on the 5th, and let's see what the deal is on that. I don't know how that's going to get clear. All right. Thank you, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have a good holiday.